Hi everybody. So today we have a unique video for you because, well, we're living through some unique times. In the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the biggest changes for people, of course, has been a lot more social isolation. We don't want to be close to each other because we don't want to pass on this sickness. And honestly, that can lead many of us to go stir crazy. I know I'm definitely in that category. So here at TFL, we're trying to come up with some ideas to keep the entertainment coming, but also, of course, talk about the situation that we're all living through. So today we're going to go for a drive. Because I have to be socially isolated, I'm going by myself, but what better way to get out of the house, see some of this beautiful countryside, and try to just feel, sort of normal for a little bit than by going for a drive. And of course, I'm going to take my favorite vehicle, my 85 K10, if that's big green. And we don't want this to be not about trucks at all, though. We want to talk about this pandemic, but we don't want to focus on it, guys. We want to keep on bringing you automotive content. So I also want to talk about how trucks have changed from this 85 to modern trucks. Are we really better off now with all that technology, or should things have stayed this simple? Why don't we hop in, go for a drive, and let's talk about it. Well, we're all coping differently, and personally, this is one of the best ways I know how to cope. That's get out here into the Ontario countryside and just go for a drive. This has been something that, me personally, I've always loved to do. On a Sunday, I would always love to just hop in the car and head out here and just take in the wilderness. But now, with what's going on in the world, there's, something extra special about being able to get out here and, first of all, get away from people, but then second of all, again, just really appreciate this beautiful world we have around us. Now, I know for a lot of you, not even this is possible. I mean, first of all, if you're actually fully quarantined, you shouldn't be out in your car. And sadly, if you are one of those people who is affected and you can't even go for a drive, I do have my GoPro on the windshield trying to shoot everything around us, so you can just try to take in some of this beautiful countryside with me as we try to take our minds off this thing. I mean, this virus is a funny one. It's more of a mental battle than anything else. I mean, for a lot of us. Now, it's going to be a physical battle for a lot of us too, and don't let me make light of that. But, for all the people who won't get the virus, it's just a mental battle of, well, what do I do? Where am I safe? Who am I safe to see, to talk to? What am I safe to touch? And because it's invisible, you feel like it's all around you. It's probably not, but I mean, me personally, every time I touch anything, I got to get the Purell out. So, like I said, unprecedented times here, everybody. You all know that. And we've had a bunch of meetings at TFL. We've been meeting every morning for the last week, and really trying to decide what's our best path forward throughout this time. And we think that the value of entertainment and the value of some normalcy is really, really high right now. So we're going to do our best to keep on bringing you content. It's going to be a little trickier because press fleets are closing down. This makes sense. Manufacturers don't want to lend out their cars because, of course, the cars get passed between multiple journalists, and it's impossible to tell who's in the cars, where the cars have been. So manufacturers are being safe, and they're not lending us cars as much. Now, that is, some manufacturers are, some aren't. So we'll probably still have a few press cars here and there moving forward in the near future, but it might not last for long. So anyways, we've been talking about what we want to do, but we want to keep bringing you guys content because we want to take your minds off of this pandemic. Ironic, I know, because I've just talked about it for however many minutes, but that's what we're trying to stay committed to here at TFL. Just bringing you some levity, bringing you some entertainment, bringing you something that you can watch and enjoy, and not think about what's going on around you in the world for, well, at least 10 minutes anyway. Here's something else you can do if you want to socially distance. get out and go off-roading. I just found this little off-road trail here, guys, and it's got some mud, so let's run Big Green through and see how she feels. Yeah. Nice. And you know what, guys? I'm never one to recommend doing solo off-roading, but of course right now the whole idea is that we're not jammed in a car beside each other. So if you do get out right now, you're gonna have to go alone. But that's okay, because it can still be a lot of fun. Here we go, back through the mud. Let's hop the ruts. Oh, man. That's it for all the COVID stuff, guys. I mean, we can't talk about this thing forever. Plus, you know, we're just one of every single outlet you guys watch, I know, is talking about this, and we don't want to go on and on and on about it. Plus, I have nothing that I can really add to this conversation. So you know what? Let's go ahead and talk trucks. Are old trucks really better, like a lot of people claim, or are new trucks the superior product? Well, the first thing I want to talk about is traction control. And I actually have a real world example, and this just happened to me last week. So as you may have seen, I took that Ram Rebel Eco Diesel and I went and put it in some pretty deep snow. Now, when I was doing that, the first run through, I put it in 4-wheel drive high. Okay, so I'm in 4 high, and it's my fault because you can defeat the traction control, but I didn't think to. I just, you know, I didn't think about it. I put it in high, I figured out it was good. So I start plowing through that snow, and the truck is really bogging down, the tires are really spinning, and one of the things I like to do in snow, I think is smart, is you work the wheel back and forth to try to find some, you know, some fresh traction, some fresh grip. And the second I started to work the wheel, and you can see it in this clip here, the brakes actually engage really quickly right there, and then the truck totally cut power, and that's because I dialed in a whole bunch of steering. And basically the Ram said, hold on, the wheels are spinning, but he's steering, which must mean he wants to turn, but we're not turning, so something has to be done here. And the traction control kicked in. Well, luckily enough, I did manage to turn it off really quickly and keep on going, but that almost got me stuck. And I think that's something that has to be said of new trucks. I like traction control. I think it's a smart feature. I think when you're driving around on wet or snowy roads and, you know, you're just not really totally focused on what you're doing, traction control can totally save your bacon. It can, you know, really keep your back end in line and make sure you don't spin out when you don't want to. On the flip side though, having a system like that that's actually actively thinking for you, well, that just means that occasionally it's not going to think the same way that you think, and that can result in some pretty hairy situations. So traction control, modern day traction control, definitely a plus, but you have to always be aware of it and know how it works and know how you can make it work for you in your specific vehicle. In Big Green here, what's traction control? I have an actual physical linkage between my right foot and the throttle on the engine, and if I ask for more power, it's giving me more power. Now that's an excellent thing in terms of, you know, driver control, because you have all the control, but once again, that also means that if you make a mistake, there's nothing here to bail you out. So again, I do appreciate the safety net that traction control provides. Now the other one, and this one's pretty hard to argue with, overall comfort. Guys, it's modern trucks. This should be no argument, no question here. I mean, this truck here, Big Green, 4-corner leaf springs, you know, very basic suspension setup, which were just meant to be able to haul heavy payload. That's all that truck manufacturers were really thinking about back in these days, that these trucks were able to do the work you needed them to do. No one ever considered the fact that you might be putting your family in here and going on a road trip. Well, that has changed. And what's interesting is, I actually think it's the market that dictated to truck manufacturers how to change their pickups, because more and more and more people were doing what I just said. They were buying trucks as everyday daily driver vehicles, and once manufacturers saw that trend, they figured, well, why should trucks be rough and tumble work vehicles when people want everyday comfort out of them? And that's what we have today, guys. There's almost no discernible differences between today's, you know, most luxurious pickup trucks and today's most luxurious crossovers or sedans, or name your segment. They ride so incredibly well. The sound damping is amazing. You can probably already tell that here in Big Green. This truck has basically no sound deadening. It's really loud in here. Of course, I've got the big 35s on that don't help, but besides that, in terms of just overall everyday comfort, guys, it's modern trucks all day long. Another big topic in this debate, and something I don't think gets discussed enough actually, is serviceability. I am by no means a mechanic. I have been wrenching on cars my whole life and snowmobiles and different things, and always managed to just sort of figure it out on my own, you know, usually have a Haynes manual or something. But like I said, I'm certainly no pro. And this 85, when I get underneath it, it makes sense to me. I can sort of look around and understand what everything is doing, and that's just because of the simplicity of it. Also, everything is exposed on these older vehicles. Nobody at this point was thinking about plastic covers to hide the engine, or different plastic shrouds, or again, sound deadening material which might get in the way. So working on older vehicles is just easier. Now, it's not easier because, you know, parts might be harder to find and things are rusted and seized up. Those are different issues though. In terms of just actually sort of understanding how things work and what you need to do to fix them, older trucks are just simpler. And the thing I like most about that is when you're out in the field, when you're out off-roading, when you're out doing an important job, making a delivery, there is a chance that on Big Green here, I can climb underneath and we can bodge something together and fix it. On modern trucks, there's so much going on, so much technology, first of all, so many sensors that need to be made happy, so many different ECU, tunings and ECUs in general, that I have no clue where to start on most modern vehicles. Some of the mechanical things are still the same, but they're not nearly as easy to work on. Nothing is as simple. Yeah, the complexity of modern day trucks, you cannot deny it. And although I do appreciate some of the things it brings us, there's no doubt that modern trucks are super complex, and that makes them really hard to work on. If you want to buy a vehicle and actually start wrenching yourself, I would absolutely recommend something old like this. Well, there's a lot more we could talk about. Honestly, guys, the list is never ending. But, overall, what has to be the verdict? Well, in my opinion, it has to be new trucks, right? You're never going to choose old trucks over new trucks. Sure, new trucks are very complex. I don't deny that at all. But they're also way more capable, way more comfortable, way more powerful. Everything about them is just so much more livable that, new trucks are absolutely incredible. Would I choose to go back to the days of simple trucks like this? No, I don't think I would. But there is a special nostalgia that comes along with classics like this. This 85, lives in my heart in a special place that a new truck just never will. So there's just something magical about old pickup trucks, about how they're still around, they were built for a purpose, and they're still out there working. So you know what, guys, if you want to go out for a drive and enjoy yourselves, take an old truck. If you have some real hard work to do, go new. Well, that's it for this one, everybody. It does seem a little trivial to be talking trucks at a time like this, but you know what? Those trivial things are going to help us get through this and help remind us what everyday, regular life is really like, and that's what we're going to keep on trying to do here at TFL. And now let me say from all of us here at TFL, a heartfelt thank you to all of the men and women who are on the front line of this thing. Anyone working at hospitals, nurses, doctors, anyone working at the treatment and testing centers, anyone working on making ventilators. A lot of the automakers are stepping up, and they might start producing ventilators if they're needed. So you know what, those people are being incredible, and at a time like this, humanity is really on display, and so far all I've really seen is the best humanity has to offer. So thank you so much to those people who are out there fighting this and allowing someone like myself to, first of all, keep on doing my job, and then second of all, to come out and go on a drive like this and enjoy our lovely countryside. Do my best to forget about the craziness that's going on around us. So that's it, guys. I'm almost home. Go out there, stay safe, have a great day. Until next time.